Hey, it's Sean Shapiro. I'm that guy who's reading you the driver's handbook page by page, and I hope it's helping so far, but let's get into it. This is still chapter 2, but we're in section 2 called Driving Along, and we're going to go through till we get it done, at least this section. They're going to cover steering smoothly, use of turn signals and brake lights, keeping right, obeying speed limits, obeying the police, maintaining space, and a summary of what we're going to talk about. Now, this starts on the right side of page 34 in the handbook, and of course, it's on the Driving Smoothly section on the website, which is available free online. Just search Ontario Driver's Handbook, and you will get to this website. I'll have the links in the video as well, so you can follow along. Always be aware of traffic around you as you drive. Develop a routine for looking ahead, behind, and from side to side. Check your mirrors every 5 seconds or so, and check your blind spots by turning your head to look over your shoulder. Keep other drivers out of your blind spot by changing your speed, and don't drive in other vehicles' blind spots. This is incredibly important, and so many drivers are so focused on what's happening in front of them, they ignore what's happening around them, and that's how so many collisions occur. They change lanes into other vehicles, and they're not truly checking their blind spots. They're relying on their mirrors, which is not always good. Actually, it's pretty bad. You got to look in the blind spots because that's where the accidents happen. They're not accidents, they're crashes and collisions, but I got to stop saying accident. This is especially true when driving around large commercial vehicles, as they typically have large blind spots to the sides and back. Be extra careful at dusk and dawn when everyone is having difficulty adjusting to the changing light. Keep a cushion of space around your vehicle and be prepared for the unexpected. Anticipate other drivers' movements and make allowances for every possible error. Look well ahead and watch for people in parked vehicles. They may be about to pull out in front of you or to open a door. Some of the writing in this book doesn't jive. Like, I read that 3 times and it doesn't flow because it's not written properly. There's some weird typos. Anyway, it's just me being annoyed by the grammar or lack thereof. Watch for smaller vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians. Steer smoothly. All steering should be smooth and precise. You should do most steering and lane changes without taking either hand off the wheel. You should be able to steer in a straight line while shifting gears, adjusting controls, or checking your blind spot. Picture the steering wheel as a clock and place your hands at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. There's a lot of discussion as to whether or not 10 and 2 is better than 9 and 3, but that's not something we're going to discuss right now. That's for another video. Use of turn signals and brake lights. If you've ever ridden a bicycle, you should be familiar with these. And if you're driving a car, you need to be familiar with them too, because if a signal doesn't work, a driver can certainly use their hand signals. Hand outstretched to the left, left turn. Elbow 90 degrees up is a right turn, and down is stop. Signals tell other drivers what you want to do, alerting them to your attention to turn or stop. Use your turn signals and brake lights to signal before stopping, slowing down, turning, changing lanes, leaving the road, or moving out from a parked position. Give the correct signal well before taking the action and make sure other drivers can see it. Check that the way is clear before you act. Just signaling is not enough. Follow the rules for turns, whether left or right, on lane changes and on yields to other vehicles and pedestrians. If your turn signals and brake lights are not working, use hand and arm signals. The pictures on the previous page show you how to make the hand and arm signals. When watching for signals made by others, remember that cyclists may signal right turns by holding their right arm straight out, which is a good point. After signaling, move only when it is safe to do so. Keep right. Keep to the right of the road or in the right-hand lane on multi-lane roads unless you want to turn left or pass another vehicle. This is especially important if you are driving more slowly than other vehicles. I've generally got a lot to say about keeping to the right. And the truth is that all lanes have the same speed limit. It doesn't matter how fast you want to go. The posted limit is the maximum that you are lawfully permitted to go. So what does that mean? It means that if you're doing the speed limit and that is the slowest vehicle on the road, you should still stay to the right because the bonehead who wants to speed is going to need somewhere to go. And if you make them pass you on the right, that's dangerous. So stay to the right for your own safety and everybody else's, even if they choose to break the law. Obey speed limits. Obey the maximum speed limit posted on signs along the road, but always drive at a speed that will let you stop safely. This means driving below the maximum speed in bad weather, in heavy traffic, or in construction zones. School zones and construction zones often have lower speed limits to protect children and those who work on or near the road. Where there are no posted speed limits, the maximum speed is 50 kilometers an hour. Where there are no posted speed limits, the maximum speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour in cities, towns, and villages, and 80 kilometers an hour elsewhere. Cruise control is a driver aid that can improve fuel economy and prevent you from inadvertently exceeding the speed limit. However, there are some circumstances in which cruise control is not to be used, such as adverse driving conditions, wet, icy, or slippery roads, in heavy traffic, or when you are feeling fatigued. Speed measuring warning devices are illegal. If you get caught driving with such a device, you will be fined and accumulate demerit points. Just want to add something here. Police have the lawful authority to search your vehicle and seize any device that is related to this charge. So if you have a laser blocker, laser jammer, a radar blocker, radar jammer, radar detector, anything that prevents police from measuring your speed and enforcing highway traffic act laws. What happens? $170 fine, 2 demerit points, and of course you lose the device. And some people like to hide those devices deep under the dashboards. Well, police can remove those by any means necessary, and that might leave you putting your car back together. My advice is don't buy them, don't have them, don't use them, because they're illegal to buy, sell, trade, use, and transport in the province of Ontario. Obey police. When police officers are directing traffic, you must follow their directions, even if the directions are different from traffic lights or signs. When a police officer signals you to pull your vehicle over, you must pull over as far to the right as you safely can and come to a complete stop. Stay in your vehicle and wait for the police officer. You must immediately, upon the police officer's request, surrender your driver's license, vehicle permit or copy, and insurance. Contrary to popular belief, you do not have 24 hours to present these documents. If you do not obey a police officer's direction to pull over, you risk being fined, having your license suspended, or even serving time in prison. A little more on the whole what you have to surrender. So upon demand of a police officer, you have to surrender your driver's license. And that does not mean a photograph of it. It means the actual driver's license, the plastic card in your wallet, which you must have, or it's a $110 fine. In terms of the ownership or the registration, that is the green paper that you fold up and tuck nicely into your wallet. Well, that original or a copy, which they call a true copy, front and back of that document is acceptable, but only one of those two. You can't show us a photo, it's not okay. And finally, your insurance card. Well, there is a change here. In the province of Ontario, it is now acceptable to provide an electronic copy, but it's not a photograph from your photo album. It is an electronic app provided by your insurance provider that is capable of sending the information directly to police. You have to provide access to your phone to see it, and you may have to send a copy of it electronically. $110 for not surrendering your driver's license, $110 for not surrendering your ownership, and $65 for not surrendering proof of insurance, which is different than being charged for driving without insurance. That is much more serious. That's a $5,000 to $25,000 fine if you're caught driving without insurance, and up to 6 months in jail on the first offense. Conviction. Don't do that. Maintaining space. As a general rule, drive at the same speed as traffic around you without going over the speed limit. Leave a cushion of space around your vehicle to let other drivers see you and to avoid a collision. Whenever you follow another vehicle, you need enough space to stop safely if the other vehicle brakes suddenly. A safe following distance is at least 2 seconds behind the vehicle in front of you. This lets you see around the vehicle ahead and gives you enough distance to stop suddenly. Do not block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic. I cannot tell you how many people believe that they have to go the same speed as the traffic around them, even if that traffic is breaking the law. It is not only ridiculous, it is not lawful. If you are going over the posted speed limit and everybody else is going over the posted speed limit too, you are all eligible for tickets. And one day, I imagine there'll be a whole lot of electronic enforcement. So build good habits now. And if you're the slowest person on the road because you're traveling the speed limit, stay to the right all the time. Another thing that people tend to misunderstand is the concept of following distance. 2 seconds at certain speeds is okay, while 3 seconds might be necessary at different speeds. It depends, and we'll get into more of that later. Diagram 2-9. To give yourself a 2-second space, follow these steps. Pick a marker on the road ahead, such as a road sign or a telephone pole. When the rear of the vehicle ahead passes the marker, count 1,1001, 1,1002. When the front of your vehicle reaches the marker, stop counting. If you reach the marker before you count 1,1002, you are following too closely. Remember that the 2-second rule gives a minimum following distance. It applies only to ideal driving conditions. You will need extra space in certain situations, such as bad weather, when following motorcycles or large trucks, or when carrying a heavy load. Summary. By the end of this section, you should know how to steer and use your vehicle's signaling system and hand signals, the importance of maintaining space and how to measure following distance, where to position your vehicle on the road, and obey speed limits and police. And if you don't, play it again because it's all in there. Now, I will not be taking as long as it took me to do this chapter or this section as it did the last. I apologize for that delay. These will start coming much more quickly now. Anyway, I hope this is helping. Let me know if you have questions about anything covered in this section. And if this is the first time you're seeing me do this, well, make sure you go back and start at the very first one because it's here and it's part of a playlist. Start at the first one and go all the way through. And if you're getting here well after they're all here, I hope you're enjoying so far. I hope this helps. If you want to ask questions on the daily, you can jump into the live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we do this live stream called Ask a Traffic Cop, and I'm that former traffic cop who answers your questions. Of course, if it's the nighttime, we also very often get the folks from Alberta, which is a totally different situation because they have different laws. Similar, but different. All right, take care.